Hi guys, I'm Allison Boesch, and I am a former actress and model, and now a newly emerging interior designer. And today I am here with DesireList. I am originally from Dearborn Heights, Michigan, where I was born and raised, an only child. I graduated college from Michigan State University with an apparel and textile design background. I had always grown up wanting to explore every creative side of things. I was approached and told many times, oh, you should be into modeling or do commercials. And growing up from Michigan, there isn't really a huge career in that there. There's a bit more industrial lifestyle stuff that happens here and there, but I had an opportunity my senior year to have a role in an independent film, which I took and became very interested in the field. I then moved to Chicago for a year and signed with the Ford models there in Chicago, did a lot of print work, a lot of commercials, and sort of got my feet wet a bit more. And after about a year and a half, I had thought back to a visit to LA my freshman year of college, actually, when I had gone to visit a friend and said, I really loved it, and if this is something that I truly want to do, I need to be there. So I packed my bags and said I was going to test it out for 3 weeks. I lived with a good friend of mine, and from the minute I was there, I knew I was never coming back. I felt at home right away. And from the first 6 months that I was there, I had my first role in California was for Iron Man 2, where I was a watermelon girl. It was a lot of fun though. My speaking line actually got cut, but I was on set for 10 days and met some of my first friends and really had a taste of what the film industry had to offer. And then from there, I booked a commercial for Hager clothing. I don't know if you guys recognize that at all, but it's kind of like the traditional khaki pants that men wear. Not that flattering, but it was a commercial that ran throughout a lot of sports programming. And at that time, I had met the head of Fox Sports marketing from the corporate division. And about 6 months from that, I got a call from him and said, oh, do you remember I met you on the Hager clothing shoot, and I have a new project, and I said I want that girl, and that girl was me. And the project was starting in Detroit, Michigan, and then he went on to see my 313 area code, which is my first and only cell phone number, still to this day, and said, okay, this is my girl. So what he had in mind was basically a 1-month trial for myself and a partner to be the faces of the Fox Sports Detroit region. And we basically were on air throughout all of the different games that were going on, interviewing fans and sort of keeping people updated and like the liaison between the teams and the fans, because in Detroit, if you don't know, it's such a huge sports community. That 1 month turned into 2 years and starting a division amongst the whole country. So I think we went from 2, myself and my partner Lauren, to 25 girls. 2 years in, I realized that I didn't really want to be hosting. That's what I originally moved for TV and film. I fell into hosting, which was amazing. It was an amazing opportunity, and I met my husband, who was playing for the Detroit Tigers at the time, and he got traded, and I said, okay, I think I'm going to go back to auditioning for TV and film. So I left Fox happily and moved back to California, and then it was probably about a year or so more of auditioning, and then I got engaged and didn't get engaged to be away from my husband, so was traveling a bit with him for baseball, and it was hard because my agents here were frustrated with me, and the minute I would leave, something would come up, and it was hard because I feel like, you can't be in 2 places at once. So I had to make the decision to put acting on hold. I did bits and pieces, modeling stuff in the cities that I was in, but I enjoyed my life at the time, and then when I'd come back from the off season, I would audition, and it wasn't really fulfilling me in a way because I felt like I wasn't able to dive in 100%. That's when I sort of started to realize that my creative roots were coming back as I was analyzing every sort of interior photo I could come across on Instagram and just taking note in just my surroundings throughout all of my travels, and really trying to listen to myself and say, okay, I went to school for this originally, and I had at that time thought, okay, I'm just gonna put that on hold to come into acting, and I could always revisit it at a later time. So I started to dive into that a bit more. My husband decided to retire from baseball 2 years ago, and we were both back in LA, and now it's sort of like, what's next? His family has a boutique hotel in Venice called the Venice Beach House, and it was a very kind of sleepy grandma's cottage vibe, and they had asked me to give it some life. That was my first sort of project to restore, remodel, sort of handle all the aesthetics and give it more of a modern take on what Venice is. But on top of that, I have a love for the kitchen. So I was making breakfast for a year for 18 people every day, creating the menu, hosting, running, managing, taking on this whole world of hospitality that I love to entertain in my own home, but had no idea really what I was doing on a corporate level. In that process of realizing again how much I'm loving creating and curating these spaces and doing it not only with that, but for friends on the side, I said, okay, I'm gonna really give it a go in a professional aspect. I have now just finished my first 3,000 square foot commercial law space from start to finish, and we had to do it in 2 months, which was crazy, but it was a great learning experience. And now I'm on to some residential projects, and I do miss the film world, and I still dabble here and there, but I'm really looking forward to building and creating spaces for people that make you happy, because anyone that's in the entertainment industry knows that there's a lot of ups and downs, and you know, it's hard to be told no so many times, but that's part of it, and it's amazing, and you're on this high for a week, and you're just like, you know, feeling so great, and then it's like, okay, you have another 3 months in, or, you know, 3 weeks, or who knows, some people have even longer of that, where they're, you know, without something and looking for the next thing. So for me, as much as I do love that, I've realized that it's not my passion, and seeing myself build something that is lasting and continuing to grow is what's making me very happy at the moment.